Today we are reacting to Am I the Asshole? Did you just mock me?
No.
Am I the asshole for choking my boyfriend? Okay. My mom actually requested that we do this. That's why we're doing it.
Shout out to Tori's mom.
Shout out to my mother. Am I the asshole for calling my daughter's father spineless and his girlfriend creepy over their name choice for their daughter?
Ooh.
Oh.
We got some juicy.
We chose one with some tea.
A little bit of context for you all. I ended up falling pregnant with my 10-year-old daughter during a drunken hookup with a friend in my mid-20s. Not the most glamorous or flattering truth, but it's the truth all the same. When we found out, we decided to keep the child and co-parent while remaining friends. We were never a couple, and we didn't want to be one either. 4 years ago, he began to date his long-term girlfriend, and they moved in together last year. She fell pregnant, and I've been supported. She's saying it like it's an illness.
She fell pregnant.
She fell pregnant, and I've been supportive to them both as much as I could be without crossing any lines. I've encouraged my daughter to help out whenever she's staying with them during the pregnancy and to behave. I've also made it clear that I want the children to have a close relationship despite having different mothers. I've even said that if they were comfortable with it, on nights I have my daughter. If they ever want time alone, I'll babysit once they have the baby so my daughter can spend time with her sibling.
I'm not trying to jump the gun, but off the broom, this lady seems like she's not the asshole. She seems like she's pretty respectable. I think she's honoring the fact that her daughter is going to have a sibling, and that's what it's going to be. It's a sibling.
The subreddit is not Am I the Asshole, only 2 paragraphs, so we'll find out. All in all, I thought everything was great, and I was excited for my daughter to have a sibling, as she's always wanted one, but I had no interest in having another child. The point that I can see it from so far is that she's jumping the gun and being a little overly invested. Because they have that co-parenting agreement of like, we were never a couple, we were just friends who accidentally had a baby. So if they had that, and now she's being all like, about his new relationship now that they've had a baby, I can see how that would be kind of like...
Yeah, I also could see that.
Yeah.
Man, having a baby on accident with someone that you're just friends with and you just plan to be friends with and deciding to co-parent is a sticky situation for the rest of your life.
3 days ago, my friend and his girlfriend had a daughter. They asked me to bring my daughter to the hospital to meet her little sister yesterday alongside others of the family. So I did exactly that, but when they introduced us to the baby, I was shocked. They'd used my daughter's name. She didn't seem to have any issue with this. When she introduced the baby bold as brass, good God, whoever wrote this has some issues writing. My friend seemed uncomfortable and wouldn't look at me directly. I asked them what they were playing at which point my friend's father said he'd take my daughter down to the cafeteria to get something to eat and left with her. My friend told me to calm down and not to overreact, while his girlfriend told me she didn't see the issue and it was a pretty name. I asked them if they'd name the baby for my daughter, trying to understand the logic here, but his girlfriend said that no, it was just a pretty name that she liked. I then asked if they planned to use a nickname or a middle name when addressing to her on a daily basis, and her response was that she didn't see a need for that.
I would just like to say, that's wild. Okay, I really don't think that this person's the asshole, because she's even trying to find reasoning behind it. She's like, oh, did y'all do that because y'all love my daughter so much? Like, y'all were naming her in her honor? Like...
And y'all are just gonna call her a nickname?
Yeah, she's like trying to find like the good, literally give the best case possibility from this. But they're like, nope, we just wanted to name it that same exact name. So he has 2 daughters of the same exact name. It's giving actually crazy.
No, that's weird.
It's giving psychotic.
That's weird.
Yeah. I've never heard of anything like this, and I feel like trying to replace the daughter that person had with their daughter.
He seems uncomfortable.
Yeah, he seems uncomfortable, like they argued about it. But do you get what I'm saying? It sounds like maybe this lady's trying to replace his previous daughter with another woman with their daughter.
That's like not okay in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
disrespectful to her sibling. Like, what? That's just gonna confuse everybody, make it more difficult, make everybody question everything. It's gonna make stuff awkward when they're older.
Yeah, and also the kids aren't gonna feel like they have any individuality. I know they're 10 years apart, but still, if my sibling was named Tori too, I would be mad.
I told them they were being ridiculous and that they couldn't do this. I then told his girlfriend that I found this frankly creepy and told my friend he was being spineless if he was happy to go along with this. He tried to claim our daughter could use a nickname or something, but I shut that down immediately.
So they're trying to change the already named daughter's name to a nickname? That's wild!
My middle name is Thomas when I was probably like 10. I wanted to rebrand. I was like, everybody call me Thomas now.
This is like for my future NFL career, like it just sounds better.
I guess, yeah. And I was just like, everybody call me Thomas, and of course nobody did. Everybody was like, we're gonna call you Scott, that's your name. And I was like, Okay.
But honestly, if you wanted to go by Thomas, they should have called you Thomas.
I was going.
But you can't just rename someone else.
I was getting dead name back then, super hard. But like that was voluntary. So imagine like somebody's parent, like your parents, just being like, "Your name is this now" when you're like 10 years old.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's the audacity for this.
This
like couple to be like, well, your daughter can actually go by the nickname.
Continuing, asking why it was more reasonable for a girl who has used that name for a decade to shame her name compared to a baby who had no concept of what a name was yet. Very true. You could be like, I want to name her this. No, I'd actually want to name her this. You could wait but like a month to name a baby realistically.
Dude, fun fact, I didn't have a name for 3 days.
Yeah.
I was no name for 3 days.
You were the baby for 3 days.
I was the 3 different names that they were trying to call me. See which one fit. Victoria, Alexandra, and Danielle.
Oh, my baby.
Which one do you like the best?
Your name. Victoria. Okay. I can't believe that this man said that his own daughter could just like change her name. That's insane. His girlfriend told me I was being a bitch talking to her like that after she just gave birth and asked the nurses to remove me, saying I was being disruptive.
Like
this sounds like a setup.
About to say, this person like diabolically thought in their brain like, how can I make them seem crazy? And decided to name her own child the same name as that child. And when that person started freaking out, she's like, she's crazy. She went crazy when I gave birth. She's
yelling at me when I'll be giving birth. Get her out of here. You're crazy.
That is like professional gaslightism.
Okay, Starfire. Gaslightism. Okay. Maybe my temper is running a little too hot, though, and I was too harsh on her when she just gave birth. It's just so fucking weird. Edit. I'd also like to state I know what they want to name their child is their choice. They could have called her Dinosaur for all I care, but this one name that should be off limits or adjusted. They even have the same surname as they have the same father. Something about it just felt malicious and deliberate, as if she's trying to replace my daughter. And for them both to spring on us like that at the first meeting, no, that was weird. So they're both gonna have the same last name until they get married. If they choose to take their partner's last name.
It is literally giving. She's trying to replace the child that already exists. Trust me, I understand having a partner who has a separate baby, something, mom, dad, whatever. But like that child still deserves its own individuality, and that child can be separated from that past relationship. You know what I mean? Because that child is its own individual human being, and this person does not deserve to be a mother or a stepmother. To try to like replace a child, that child's a result of a relation that maybe you don't like now, like you don't like that happened, but that doesn't mean that child deserves to be neglected or even treated as a part of that relationship. That child deserves its own separate space as its own individual human being, and it deserves good families that love it. And if you're not prepared for that, don't have a fucking child. Let's see what the comments say. Whenever I was 6 years old, my mother told me that she no longer liked my birth name and started calling me something else. It was very traumatic.
That is so weird.
I don't like your name anymore.
Imagine your mom being drunk, just like, I don't like your name. Your name is Gert. Go to bed, Gert. I'll be like, my name's not Gert.
Someone said, I wonder if it's legally possible to do that or to fight it. I met a woman online who had to come seek legal advice on the same issue. Her daughter was named Mary Rose Doe, and her ex told her that he was going to have another daughter, and what they were going to name her was Mary Rose Doe. The woman tried to talk with the expecting parents, but they wouldn't hear of it. So she decided to take things to court. When the baby was born, she actually won. The judge decided that the child's legal name was to be changed to Rosemary Doe, of course. The parents of the second daughter kept calling the daughter Mary Rose. The first daughter was very confused about this, and she told her mother she thought her father didn't love her anymore. Aww. And thought that she was a mistake and that he was having a do-over baby.
Oh my god.
I think that Reddit commenter said it perfectly. The child was very traumatized from that and said that she felt like her father was trying to have a do-over baby, which is just one of the most sad, heartbreaking things I've ever heard. And I think that the father is spineless, and I think that the stepmom is a raging fucking cunt.
Yeah.
The OP is not the asshole. The OP is a victim, and so is the original, well, not the original child, but it can be called the original child now because they got a fucking version 2 they're trying to make.
Final verdict. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
Am I the asshole for letting my brother and family stay with me after a flooding, but not my niece? Judging a book by the cover, it sounds like you're the asshole. It'd have to be something big to make this person not the asshole, like the niece has stolen
your
from
brother's
them.
daughter, yeah.
I, 37-year-old male, have been married to my husband, 41-year-old male, for 4 years. I came out to my family as bi when I was 16, and from the very beginning, they were nothing but supportive, and to this day, almost my entire family accepts me for who I am. I already have what is going on from that one sentence. The niece is homophobic. That is what I am guessing. And if that's the case, you're no longer the asshole. Like I said, it had to be something big.
We will find out.
My niece, 20-year-old female, is the only exception. She is my brother's daughter, and despite her parents showing no prejudice against the LGBTQ plus community, she doesn't make a secret of her homophobia. I don't know where her beliefs stem from, but the day I first introduced my husband, then boyfriend, to her family, she has been very hostile towards us. She was 14 at the time. That's wild. Out of anyone in the family, you would think that the Gen Z girl would be like the most...
Is it dated? Like,
no, this is like recent. This was posted 2 days ago.
Jeez.
Yeah, you would think the Gen Z girl would be like the coolest. She would be the one that was like the most accepting.
Where is this in the United States?
Like,
this is somewhere in a rock's throw of where we are outside of New Orleans right now. I can feel it.
I don't know though, because her entire family was accepting of them being gay. Her entire family except her, which is so odd. Where I'm from, there's a lot of families that are not accepting. We live in the deep south, but like the daughter, like the Gen Zs typically will be more accepting. I would hear of like an entire family being really homophobic, but like the 14-year-old daughter would be accepting and maybe even like questioning. It's just opposite, that the entire family is accepting and the 14-year-old daughter is hostile. That's wild.
A girl against gays.
Girl against gays. Doesn't make sense. Something isn't adding up.
Yeah, something's not adding up here.
She refuses to speak to my husband and barely acknowledges us at family gatherings. Oh my god.
What it comes off to me as is that she's just had an impression put upon her by some form of media or some person that should not be having a platform and giving information out.
Extremely true.
It's pretty fucked up.
Maybe she's like religious and the rest of her family isn't, but she's like the extremist religious that is homophobic. Despite her father constantly chastising her, frequent uses of the F slur to refer to members of the LGBTQ plus community and calls same-sex relationships disgusting.
Wow.
Due to a severe flooding, my brother and his family have been forced to evacuate their homes. My husband and I have a guest room and a sofa bed in our living room. When our brother asked if his family could come stay at our place for a while, I told him his wife and their younger children, 15 female and 20 male, were very welcome to stay as long as they needed to, but that we weren't comfortable letting his oldest daughter stay with us. He seemed to have been expecting that answer and told me that he understood my reasons. When he broke the news to his daughter, she was furious, asking where else she's gonna stay and that she had nowhere else to go. You should have thought about that whenever you were being homophobic. So entitled to think that you can treat someone like literal shit, and whenever they're like not comfortable helping you out, you get mad. What do you expect? You treat someone bad, they're not going to want to be around you. That is called the consequences of your actions. Yep. From what I know, my brother offered to help her pay for a cheap hotel, but she doesn't want to dip into her savings because she doesn't work and she's been living with my brother rent-free. Wow, she just sounds like an awful person. Apparently, she's been trying to stay with a friend for a few days and she's been telling her mother how awful it is there. Surprise, she has horrible friends. Not surprised. My brother's still supporting my decision, but his wife has started trying to convince me to let her eldest daughter move in. She's been pushing me to get over her comments because my niece is still young and naive, and that she couldn't have known that her actions would have major consequences. Well, this is the time for her to find out. This is the perfect situation for her to learn a lesson. She's advising me to be the bigger person and to not let my hard feelings for her daughter stop me from helping a family member, because that would be the asshole thing to do.
In all honesty, that stuff kind of goes beyond a lot. Like, a lot of people try to sit down and explain homophobia, like, especially in context like that. Like, come on, like, don't get hard feelings about it. It's like, no, because somebody calling you like the F slur, people will try to be like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, she's just, no, she pretty much said, like, no matter who you are, like, how you are, or if you're a good person or not, or if you're my family, if you're that, I find you disgusting. That's a horrible way to be as a human being.
It's not just let the comments go. The queer community has been facing these comments and hate crimes and being literally murdered because of who they are and having to fear for their life, being kicked out of their homes because of who they are, are, why would they invite someone who is openly homophobic into their own house? That could be dangerous. That could be uncomfortable in a way that they don't have to be.
I mean, a lot of people work their whole lives.
Yeah, they
and
build
when
like
you finally have a safe space,
yeah.
You don't want anything negative infiltrating that safe space.
Yeah. You don't have to let this person into your house. That is literally the consequences of that girl's actions, and she really needs to actually, like, see, my beliefs affect people.
Yep. My verdict. You're not the asshole.
The girl's the asshole.
The girl is the asshole. Am I the asshole for requiring that guests change clothes before they sit on my furniture? I'm a 20-year-old male and I live alone. I'm a very neat person. My mother kept... That's very surprising.
Honestly, yeah.
I'm a very clean man as far as, like, what the hygienic status of men go, and that's surprising. I wasn't that clean at 20. My mother kept our house pristine growing up, and I helped her for as long as I can remember. I recently moved out into my own place, and something that I started thinking about was how many germs from outside we track into our house. I always change out of my clothes as soon as I get home, but whenever I have guests, they don't. And I have no idea where they've been or what their clothes have been exposed to. About a month ago, I bought a bunch of clear disposable raincoats and started telling people who I invited over that they could bring a change of fresh clothes to change into or wear one of the coats before they sit down on my furniture. I also offer to wash the clothes that they change out of if they want to. My girlfriend doesn't have a problem with this and just starts leaving clothes at my place. My mom and my little sister have also been okay with this new rule, but I invited a friend over yesterday. I told them about the clothes thing before they came, and when they got there, they were surprised that I actually enforced it and said, "You've got to be fucking with me." I told them, "No, I'm serious," and then they left. They haven't been answering my messages either. I was talking to my mom about it today, and she said it was pretty excessive and unreasonable to expect everybody to do. I disagree, but I'm kind of double guessing myself. Am I in the wrong here?
Okay. I can see why one would want to do that, because I find myself being a little bit of a germaphobe, but in my thought process, we live in New Orleans, and New Orleans is horribly disgusting.
I'm a pest control technician in New Orleans. It is a very disgusting place.
Do I make people change out of their clothes anytime they want to sit on my couch? No, but do we make everybody who comes into the house take off their shoes? Yes. Whenever I was a kid, I didn't think about any of this stuff. Whenever I moved out into my own house, I felt like I did become more like overbearing, in the sense of I became hyper aware of like the germs and stuff, you know? Really, there is like a lot of germs out there that are coming into my space. But I wouldn't make someone change out of their entire outfit just to sit on my couch. If I'm like out and about with people and they come back and they sit on my bed, I'm like, could you maybe change into your PJs? Like if it's like a sleepover, I'm like, could you maybe change into your PJs if we're gonna be in the bed, because I really don't like the outside clothes in my bed.
Yeah, circumstantially, that's fine. So I think that there's some gray area in between each side here. Agreeing to come and being told that. I'm sure they were specific, like, hey, I do this thing.
Like, I'm weird about
I do this
clothes,
weird thing,
yeah.
And this is what it is. And people being like, oh, like, that doesn't sound that bad. Like, I'll come over, it's fine. Don't feel bad. And then get there and you actually be like, that is weird, but like I said, please. And they're like, you gotta be fucking with me, dude. And they just ghost you, like, leave and ghost you.
That's pretty shitty. If they were very clear about something that bothers them and then you're like agreeing to it, and then when you get there you're like, what the hell? And you leave, that's pretty shitty in my opinion. I think it's excessive, but maybe talk to your friend about how it's excessive. Don't treat them wrong after they were very clear, like communicating very clearly.
All you can do is communicate in that situation and be like, hey. So, overall verdict, mild asshole.
Yeah, I think you need therapy for germophobia. Maybe something like that would help. Let's see what the comments say.
Somebody said, agree. This is extreme and OP needs therapy, so I give a gentle, you are the asshole.
That's what we said!
Mild, you are the asshole.
Yeah. We have the same thought process as Reddit commenters! Or just go 80s grandma style and cover all of the furniture in clear plastic. Honestly, that is a good resolution right there.
I bet you if you told that to that person, they could be like, I should have just did that.
Yeah.
Now I don't have a friend.
Thanks for watching our video. If you want us to react to more Am I the Asshole, let us know in the comments. Like this, comment.
Please help us.
Help us like afford a vacation. We need one.
Honestly, yeah. Help me afford a car.
Please like, please subscribe.
And please, don't be an asshole.